Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. Got called out on one of my videos where I ranted on authors being overly sensitive about what they perceive as KDP print-on-demand quality issues. You call yourself an advocate for self-publishers? Ouch! Out of respect for that author's concerns, let me address each of them here, though some points might still echo my position on the earlier video. The author was upset because I stated I haven't had a problem in all the years I've used KDP print on demand, which has been since around 2012, saying I shouldn't play down other authors' concerns or insinuate they don't understand how print on demand works just because I haven't experienced it. The argument was that authors have, in all caps, very real problems with KDP printing mistakes that I said were alleged. She said that they were not the fault of what was uploaded to KDP. She also reported hearing complaints from customers and had ordered some books herself that apparently didn't meet expectations. Her position was that the final printed book copies must be the same as the proof and that it should not be an unrealistic author expectation. I need to make clear that this author and I were talking about two very different issues. What she was talking about refers to quality control. Printing problems do happen and need to be corrected. No argument. That is not what I was talking about in that video. I was talking about product quality. In other words, what quality you can expect for the price paid. Think of it like this. If you have only $10,000 to pay for a car, you cannot expect to purchase a luxury vehicle. Here is what would qualify as a failure of quality control. Missing, duplicated, or extra pages. Pages printed out of order. Pages printed upside down. Ink smears or blobs on either the cover or pages. Torn, cut, or severely scratched covers or pages. All of these can be rectified at the customer level by the customer returning the book for refund or requesting a replacement from Amazon. When and if the author becomes aware of these issues, the author should bring it to KDP customer support as soon as possible. The following would not qualify as quality control problems in a print-on-demand scenario. And I'll explain why they don't. Slight variations in color. The color on covers or interior pages could be brighter, lighter, or darker than that shown on a proof, or from one printing to the next. Amazon has multiple warehouse facilities that fulfill print-on-demand orders. To facilitate fast service to customers, print-on-demand books will be printed at the facility that is closest to the customer, or that has the capacity to do the job. Because multiple printing machines may be used, there will be slight variations from printing to printing. Variations in color can also be caused by environmental conditions, ink used, paper stock variations, and more. These conditions could change from day to day. To expect a zero variation from one print job to the next is impossible to achieve in a budget-conscious print-on-demand scenario. A slightly different paper stock for the cover or the interior pages. Supply chain woes have challenged printing and publishing for quite a while now. To meet customer demands, Amazon may need to change the paper stocks and inks used in their print-on-demand operations. Even if supply chains are operating smoothly, large organizations like Amazon may quickly and frequently change suppliers and supply choices to optimize profits and meet customer demands. Minor scuffing on gloss covers that have large areas of dark solid color. This can happen due to handling during or after the printing, assembly, or packing process. The print-on-demand facility will do their best to handle them carefully, but it will happen. This applies on almost any gloss, varnish, or coated surface, including flooring. Expecting otherwise is unrealistic in this scenario. To avoid these issues, a matte coated cover is recommended. So here's an example that I used in the last video. This one is ill-advised in most print-on-demand scenarios. You see how it's a shiny cover? Quite surprisingly, there's very little scuffing on it, although some is evident, especially from wear. And if you have a gloss cover, even if it's multicolors and doesn't show the scuffing, but scratching does happen. Minor scratching. If it's big, deep gashes, yeah, that's an error. But if it's just little tiny scuffs, yeah, it's probably not considered an error. So as I mentioned, to get around that, you probably want to go with a matte coated cover. It has a coating on it still, just like the gloss covers do, but it doesn't show fingerprints and a scratching as much as gloss. Why does the proof appear different than the final printed book? A proof of a KDP author's print-on-demand book will likely be done at a facility closest to the author's delivery address. The final printed book might be done at a facility closest to the customer's delivery address. There will be variations in print output from facility to facility. If the differences aren't one of the quality control failures I discussed, minor variations in color, ink saturation, and paper stocks would be considered within acceptable limits for this printing method and price level. I've heard authors gripe about customer complaints about KDP book print-on-demand quality. Let me explain why I question that. Again, Amazon will gladly and quickly refund or replace any defective product for a customer. This is part of Amazon's quality control and customer commitment. And how? How are these authors getting these customer complaints? Because of Amazon's hassle-free return and replacement policy, it is unlikely that a reader would be so incensed at receiving a defectively printed book that they'd waste their time or effort to contact a KDP author through the author's website. Amazon does not have any mechanism that I know of within the Amazonverse for customers to directly contact KDP authors. KDP authors may never be aware that a refund or replacement has occurred, unless their family, friends, or fans let them know. Even then, it's surprising that friends and family would not also request a refund or replacement through Amazon. Aside from the quality control failures, which are legit, customers aren't likely to complain about things like color saturation or paper stocks, nor have they seen the proof or other printed copies for side-by-side comparisons. If you want to have more control over the printing process, do not go with print on demand and print it commercially on your own. That's expensive, not only for the printing, but for the fulfillment too. How much quality and quality control are you willing to pay for as a self-published author? With almost 3 out of 4 authors making less than $1,000 a year from their books, I think the choice should be obvious. I hope you found that helpful, and if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast app you like to use. I'm on all the major ones, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you like the YouTube video better, all you have to do is subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notifications so you get an alert when a new video is up. I would appreciate it if you would share the audio or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books are available on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is go to one of those sites, type in my name, Heidi Thorne, and a list of all available titles will come up. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.